Come on.
'Cause tonight will be the night that I will fall for you over again. Don't make me change my mind.
Welcome back to another edition of Pure Picks. Here to break down Money Moicano versus Duncan. Got my man Top G here. How you doing, Top G?
Not too bad. I'm ready to bounce back from this small loss from last week, but we had some good spots in that card, but I'm ready to go.
I hear you, man. Let's recap some of our plays and picks from last week. Just a very disappointing, at least to me, week. One of those weeks where I felt like we had a lot of good reads and then we just overthought it and ended up in the negative. Hindsight is real for last week for sure. One of the ones that really bit me was Yasiri. I was thinking about putting 0.85 units on him to get a unit back. Then just overthought it and put Abdul Malik in a parlay. That guy looks so bad. I can't believe I had him in a parlay. And, that's just kind of, that was very disappointing. So, lesson for me is that, if I feel strongly about somebody and even if I don't end up playing them, let's not put them in the opposing side in a parlay because that's just asking for trouble at that point. What kind of thoughts did you have on the last card?
We were actually right on a lot of underdogs, but we didn't pull the trigger to put them on our official bets. The only ones that we really got was Alexa Grasso inside the distance, no action, and Pfeiffer to win. We parlayed that with Chiesa to get a little bit more juice at plus 157. So those were the only two that we ended up putting in our official bets. But other than that, it's just missed opportunities. We read the card well, I felt like, but we just didn't allocate to our best of our ability. So I'm ready for the next one.
Yeah, man, that's the right word for it. Did not allocate right. And that's just how it goes sometimes. I think that just you need to take this lesson learned and improve for next week. Speaking of next week, or this week rather, that's the beautiful thing about the UFC. There's always another opportunity to improve and to win. This week we got coming up is going to be, it could be a fun one depending on how you look at it. It's going to be Moicano versus Duncan. It's going to be other fights on the card as well. Gerard, you always say that there's some bangers that are hidden whenever these kind of fight cards happen because I took a glance at it. It looks sketchy to say the least. So maybe there's going to be some bangers here. But yeah, man, what kind of thoughts did you have on this card?
Well, in terms of sketchy, I think last week's card was like more sketchy. And this week there's like a lot of closer odds and not too many heavy favorites. A lot of these spots will have like close to even odds for both underdog and favorite. But I think there's a lot of potential on this card. And even though it's not too hyped.
Cool, man. Yeah. Main fight, Money Moicano, Duncan. Yeah, I guess I have some thoughts on it. I wanted to kind of tell you and then maybe you can tell me. But this could be an extremely interesting one. We have two guys that are pretty much like fighting at the same kind of camp, right? I know Chris Duncan's affiliated with ATT. I think he fights in their like other branch on the other side of the world or something like that. And Money Moicano is also on top team as well. So I'm just guessing they probably have trained together. It's just that could be a good guess, like maybe once or twice, but they definitely know each other. They're in the same weight class, right? I know a lot of those ATT guys, they trained a lot together. So just seeing that, this is going to be one of those fights where I think both guys, they probably will know some of each other's moves, and I don't think it's going to be as predictable as we might think it is. Like, I'm just like thinking about my price, just like in my prior experience playing sports, like whenever we would have basketball games and like I would play someone else in basketball and like it would pretty much like a scrimmage, right, with each other. I feel like you tend to do a little bit better against those folks because like you just see them every day. And this could be a case where they just know each other's moves, and I don't know. Like, I think whoever is going to be the better IQ fighter might pull out here. They're both really talented. I think Chris Duncan, I mean, they're just both well rounded. I think that Chris Duncan probably does have the edge in the stand up in terms of the power. That could be something that Moicano has to deal with. I do think that Moicano is not like a zero overall in stand up. Like, he's actually gotten a lot better. I do like he has pretty good jab. You saw that when he fought Beneil Dariush, I think he dropped Beneil with like a 1-2, right? He missed on the jab, but he got him on the 2 after that. But that is Beneil Dariush, who's like 50 years old at this point. So I don't know if that kind of punch is going to drop Duncan. Plus, Duncan has some good recoverability. We've seen that with plenty of his fights already. So at the end of the day, I think that we're looking at a fight where one guy is clearly in his prime. The other guy, Moicano, doing a lot of podcasting. It looks like he's doing a lot of other interests and ventures aside from fighting. Don't know if I can lay units on that. Unfortunately, I think that if this was a fight that happened like a couple years ago, maybe even last year, I'll be on the Money Moicano side. But at this point, I mean, I don't know. I can't back Money Moicano. Even at this point, I mean, it's tempting. His odds right now is what, like plus 160 or something like that, 155. So it's tempting, but I don't know if I can pull the trigger on that. But that also doesn't mean that I'm ready to pull the trigger on Chris Duncan at minus 180 either. Those odds are just trying to tell you that basically he's a decent sized favorite at this point, and I don't know if I can do that in this matchup. We saw Money Moicano kind of show folks and educate folks when people were disrespecting him against BSD, another like prospect, if you will, and that maybe that could happen here too, because I think BSD is probably a better prospect than Chris Duncan coming in at this point. So it's an interesting one, but yeah, man, what are your thoughts? That's my thoughts right now.
Yeah, for this one initially, I was leaning Chris Duncan. I mean, maybe I still am, but I don't know. I feel like Moicano just has all the experience against all these bigger names, and he's been there with everybody, I feel like. And for Chris Duncan, I feel like he's more down to throw the kitchen sink and the initial game plan at times. And I mean, we saw that with what happened to Israel Adesanya. He was doing good with his initial game plan of just staying on the outside and eating up Pfeiffer's leg with those calf kicks. But then he just decided to be a dog and stand and bang and trade. And that's something that Chris Duncan might be prone to accepting during a fight. So that's one danger factor that I feel like Moicano has in terms of the IQ and just staying with his game and not like forcing any mistakes really. And this is a 5-round fight, but I feel like Chris Duncan probably does have the better cardio at this point of his career. Moicano's kind of like on the decline, but I mean these two fighters kind of know each other pretty well, and usually in that case, I'm more inclined to lean with the underdog when at these spots. But I don't know. I guess I'm Chris Duncan, but I can easily flip to Moicano looking at the odds. So yeah, those are my thoughts for this one right now.
If we're just talking about like pure odds, like, I mean, right now Moicano is plus 155. He, just to tell you from fightodds.io, it has bet online opening Moicano at minus 220. So heavy action right away from bettors where they put Moicano into like a pretty much almost a 2-1 favorite to a 2-1 dog. So they obviously thought the line was wrong. That doesn't, like, I mean, yes, that could be an indicator that, maybe Duncan was the side all along, but like, is there a number or like what would get you to commit to Moicano fully?
If Moicano ballooned up to like upwards of plus 170, plus 180, then I might look at those odds more seriously and think about taking that underdog odds. For Chris Duncan, I don't think I want to touch anywhere near minus 200. Is he
minus 180 right now?
He's minus 180 right now. So I think for Chris Duncan, I'd probably be more inclined if he was like around minus 160, minus 150, just being he's the younger and more high potential to improve fighter. But yeah, I'm kind of just sitting on this one and waiting to see where the odds move right now.
For sure, yeah. I mean, hopefully by the end of the week we'll get a better indicator of where the numbers go and all that. I do think it's an interesting one to keep track of for sure, just because I think there's going to be some value either way, depending on which side you go. So, yeah, we'll pick up some more data as the week goes on and try to see what happens with that fight. What's like the next fight on this card that you really want to talk about?
Well, the most exciting or tuned in fight that I actually want to see is that Rafael Estevam versus Ethyn Ewing, grappler versus striker. Ethyn Ewing taking that all the hype from his last fight, coming on 48 hours notice against Malcolm Wellmaker, who's I feel like the new version of type of Vinicius Oliveira finisher. But yeah, I mean, at first I thought Ethyn Ewing was going to come in as like an underdog, but right now he's a favorite. And Estevam, he's coming from flyweight 125. He's been kind of a weight bully at that weight class. So his wins at 125, I feel like I don't know how serious I can take that, even though he has been like a Charles Johnson, who's not a bad win. And Felipe, I think he showed some dominance in that fight with his grappling. But going up a division with these bigger guys, I don't know if he'll have that weight bully grappling edge, so to speak, against Ethyn Ewing, who has a history of I think some collegiate wrestling. I think he has in his back pocket, and I really like his output and his volume and the angles that he cuts within his striking. I feel like the further down the line in this fight, as we've seen Estevam kind of fizzle out in terms of the gas tank as the fight goes on, I think Ewing can really put it on him down the stretch in the second and third round and maybe even find a finish. But I'm on Ewing on this one. Yeah, those are my thoughts for this fight.
Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be a fun one too. Definitely potential to be fight of the night, depending on how it goes. In these cases, I always I like siding with the people that are like the fighters that are going up in weight. I truly believe in the concept of lighter man skill. Like I just think that the lighter skill classes, they just have the most skill, and the more they go up, it just exposes some of these guys who are like a little slower or like they're just not as skilled. Now, having said that, flyweight to bantamweight, there are a few factors that I think I have to consider when it comes to this fight in particular, and Estevam going up into weight. Flyweight to bantamweight, I think those 135ers are still really skilled. That's the thing. Like I think it's more drastic if it's like going from like lightweight to welterweight, or like, that 15-pound difference, right? Or like a middleweight to light heavyweight or something like that, or heavyweight or light heavyweight to heavyweight. So I think those skills are more drastic. In these lighter weight classes, I mean, it's 10 pounds. The 135 class is just very skilled. Like it's always been a very skilled weight class just across all fighting in the UFC in particular. You see a lot of good people in that weight class. I think that that's one thing to consider where, maybe the jump up for Estevam isn't going to be as good. Another thing is, like you mentioned, I think that Estevam was a weight bully. I mean, this guy missed weight, I'm pretty sure, a couple times. All right. There has to be a reason why he's moving up. I would assume that that is part of the reason why he's moving up, is that the UFC most likely told him that he had to fight at 135 now, because you can't just keep on missing weight. That's just, that's not reliable to the company. So I think he has to probably move up to fulfill, his contract and all those things. And so that tells me that this is just my lean, but I'm pretty sure that this wasn't his idea to do this. I like it when fighters, it's, 100% is their idea to move up, like Ilia Topuria going up to 155, like the confidence of the aura. I'm not sure about this move up. I don't know if this is good, the aura that I'm looking at here. And the fact that they're putting him up against a guy like Ewing. This guy, the professional finesser, man, he finessed a lot of people who laid on the Wellmaker odds for sure. I mean, He blew up a lot of parlays last time he fought, and he's good. He's a good fighter. I think it's you can look at it one or two ways. You can say that a Wallmaker was overrated, or Wallmaker's still really good, but this guy's just really good, right? I think I lean towards the other one, especially with the thing that you said, 2 days notice. That's wild. Like, I don't think anybody would have thought that he would have did what he did. I really like that he fights until the bell. Like, he either tries to get a finish or he really pulls on in the later rounds. It reminds me a little bit of Josh Fan, right? Someone who starts, not the best, I would say, but they really pick on the later rounds. And Estevam, the times that I've watched this guy, I mean, he has a great pace in terms of grappling. It reminds me of kind of like a Gamrot, right? One of those like just chain wrestlers that he's probably not as technical as Gamrot, but he just tries and he uses that weight bully stuff. But man, going up to 135, I think his cardio will be better. It's just he's just not going to be that drained. So I think it's going to be better, but it's going to be interesting to see if his weight bully tactics are going to work against a guy like Ewing, who's a legit 135er. Is it going to work in later rounds as the rounds progress? So I'm on the Ewing side as well. I don't mind him at these odds, honestly. Just to tell you guys, Ewing opened up at plus 135 and then he went down to minus 175 that day. So then it's been yo-yoing back and forth between like the ranges of where he's like a slight underdog to now like a solid range of where he's like a moderate favorite at minus 144. So if you're looking for value, I mean, this might be getting it at probably a top, honestly. But I do think that he's the side. One thing that could be good is if you pick him and then maybe parlay him with another good favorite. You can get like dog odds on Ewing. Like I always like to think about, you can get dog odds to some of these guys if you pick the right guy. So that could be an interesting strategy. But yeah, I think I got Ewing too, man. I think he's way better than stand up. The grappling he's gonna have to overcome, but I think he's only gonna have to, for sure, he probably will only have to overcome like a round and a half. And then once that round and a half, after that, I think it's going to get interesting to see if Estevam can continue that pace for all 3 rounds. I'm leaning towards, I don't think he can, with all these question marks on why he's going up in weight and how that new weight's going to affect him. So yeah, I think I got Ewing here for sure, man. I think I'm on your side for sure.
I like it.
Yeah, man. Other than that, man, this card, that was probably my favorite fight of the card, honestly. I'm not sure about these other ones. I'll be honest with you.
The other one that I liked, especially with the odds, is this heavyweight fight. It's Thomas Petersen versus Guilherme Pat. And in this fight, it just seems like all these bigger heavyweights or slower has just kept losing to these athletic juggernauts, I feel like. And Guilherme Pat, he's a very interesting heavyweight because he has a very different style that you see from the heavyweight, where he has that karate type of style and stance, light on his feet. He can has some footwork that usually heavyweights don't usually have. So like you said earlier about that lighter man skill, I feel like Guilherme Pat, he could very well be like a light heavyweight fighting at a heavyweight, which is why maybe he wasn't able to finish Alan Fry, who was a very tough guy to crack, even though he's getting beat up the entire fight. But against Thomas Petersen, I mean, we've seen this guy get cracked a few times. I mean, Shamil Ghazi, that was a nasty KO. His last fight, Vitor Petrino, kind of looks like a big brother of Guilherme Pat. I mean, this could be like facing a similar type of monster. And I think Guilherme Pat I feel like he has a cleaner striking than Vitor Petrino, but just not the same type of power that Vitor Petrino has. And I like the stand-up of Guilherme Pat, and he just needs to avoid Thomas Petersen's grappling, where I think Pat's last fight, that wasn't his best as a debut. I think we probably seen him at less than his average showing, I feel like. And now with his second fight in the UFC, I think we can see him really show what he can do in the striking. And hopefully, as long as he can stay away from Thomas Petersen's grappling, we may even see a Guilherme Pat by finish at some point if Thomas Petersen can't keep Pat on against the cage or get him on the ground. So, yeah, I just think Pat might be a little bit too quick and athletic against Thomas Petersen. I think the striking will be too fast as well. So, at even odds, I think Pat's a pretty good value in my opinion.
For sure, yeah. Don't have any thoughts on this one, to be honest. I just want to say the odds, Pat opened up at plus 110. Now he is a minus 115. There was a point where he's a minus 146 at one point. So slight underdog to now a slight favorite or a pick'em at this point. So yeah, interesting stuff there. I mean, just from what I've watched from both of these guys, just I guess a quick thought, I'll probably go Pat at this point. I mean, I just tend to side with those kind of fighters over the Petersen style fight. Yeah, so I think I'm probably on your side too. But I'll probably make a final verdict from my end later in the week. But that's just my thought now. Just go with the guy who looks a little bit more athletic. Obviously, the quicker guy, better stand up. I mean, the only question mark is really the grappling, right? Like, I think it's actually kind of an easy one to break down. Like, if he can kind of shuck off some of those like heavy guy takedowns that Thomas Petersen does, then he'll probably win. But this is probably going to be the first test that he has about that. I think Fry was doing some control of him, right, based on what I saw. But I don't know. Pat has some takedowns too, so we'll see. But yeah, probably lean Pat right now. I guess, yeah, the only other one I wanted to talk about from my end was the co-main event. And, it's another pick'em. It's pretty much the same odds as the Pat Petersen fight. Co-main event's going to be with Virna Jandiroba and Tabatha Ricci. Jandiroba opened up as minus 190 favorite. Now she's a minus 115 favorite, slight favorite. So it's pretty much pick'em right now. Man, I really want to go Jandiroba here. Like, I kind of I'm upset that we didn't lock her in at plus odds. If I had looked at it, I think that is mega value at plus odds. I just don't think Tabatha Ricci is that good, personally. No disrespect to her. I mean, I think she's on a good, she's been on a good run in the UFC. I just don't really value some of her wins. The Tisha Payton one, she might have lost that one. I remember that one. Split decision win. To me, it seemed like Payton won, but they gave it to Ricci there. Angela Hill, I think that was a good win, although it was close. Then she got outclassed totally by Jan. I think that was a good one for us. We had the Jan parlay, if I remember that one correctly. Like, that was a nice one. And then she knocked out Rebus, who I do like Rebus. Like, I think she's a good fighter, but let's just look at Amanda Rebus, right? I mean, she's been finished in a lot of her fights for a woman. It's kind of concerning. I don't know. Like, I don't think Ricci's gonna finish Jandiroba. Like, Jandiroba looks like she can take some punches, even if her head movement isn't the best, or like her movement isn't the best. I feel like she got a really good chin. She got some good durability. Her fight against Mackenzie Dern, I think Dern did win, but I think it was closer than what people might have remembered. Like, I still probably gave it to 3-2 Dern probably, but it's close, man. It was a close fight for me, at least. I think Virna did actually pretty well in that fight. And it's just, sometimes it's just optics in terms of decisions, right? Like, how the fight is being viewed and how the fight's going. Like, I think that Mackenzie Dern, when you watch her, she's not the best striker either, but a lot of the fight was on the feet, more than what I think people remember. I think obviously there was some grappling there, but I think a lot of the fight was on the feet. And if you just look at the stats, it was really close. But I think the way that Mackenzie Dern strikes, the way that she lands, I think she does have a little bit more power and pop in her shots, and it just makes it for a better looking fight from Dern, right? If you kind of understand what I'm saying, it just looks to the judges I think Dern might have edged out that round. Jandiroba, she just does not look as fluid on the feet, unfortunately. I think that gets her in trouble most of the time. her main thing is just based on like she's a grappler, right? She has amazing grappling, top control, submissions. Those are really key too. Only a couple concerns from me is that she's older now, you know? She just fought for the title. That's sometimes that can go really wrong, right? We saw what happened to MBS, Mayra Bona Silva, after she fought for the title and lost. I think she just like I think she just kept on losing, and like I don't even know I don't even know if she's in the UFC anymore. So it's like once you get to that point and then you lose, even if it's a close fight, is the motivation still there? I think it is. I mean, I think Jandiroba is a fighter. She's a fighter. She's going to keep on fighting until barring injury or whatever. I still think she looks good unless she just majorly aged since the last time we saw her. I doubt that. I think that she's going to be game still. I hope that she flips the plus odds at some point. I think she has more advantages over Ricci in this fight that are going to be key because the stand-up Ricci's definitely better. Like she's quicker and all that. I think the optics will also play a key part here. But I think what got Virna in the last fight was that unfortunately, I think Dern was also a really good grappler, like a really, really good one. And Virna wasn't able to play to a lot of her strengths because she had to be worried about Dern. I mean, Dern's a fantastic jiu-jitsu grappler, and you know you have to be worried about that. And it was a constant fighting of like sweeping and like reversals and all that. So I think that in this fight it's going to be a little different. I don't know if Ricci has that same style to stop Virna from doing what she's doing. Just to kind of tell you guys, I mean, last fight Virna, she landed 9 out of 17 takedowns for 9 minutes of control time. Mackenzie Dern only landed 2 takedowns out of 8 takedowns. She only got 3 minutes of control time. And that's being Mackenzie Dern, a good grappler, right? I mean, maybe not the best takedown artist, but Virna held Dern down for 9 minutes out of 15 or like out of the 25. I think that this is another 5-round fight. Is Ricci going to be able to do what Dern did? The jury's still out for me. I don't think Ricci's as good as Dern on the grappling, man. Like, and I think that's she's going to be, I think, unfortunately for her, a willing grappler. I think she grapples herself. You know, she's not going to be just trying to stand it up. I think that she's going to be engaging in Virna with some of these exchanges. So I gotta go Virna here, man. Like I know that the Ricci's the younger fighter. You know, I usually don't like backing that, but I see value in Virna here, man. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think I gotta back Chiwiwis right here again. Some
Is that Virna?
Raul.
It looks
That was a
similar,
joke.
kind of
I
similar.
think I gotta not Raul Roses, but Virna Jandiroba. Like even though she's older, I feel like I never seen her fight a bad fight
Yeah.
in any of her fights. And for Ricci, there's just a lot of fights where it's like kind of off-putting. It's like
Mhm.
we don't really know if she won those fights. Might have judges might not have been paying attention. I don't know what they were looking at, but she seems to be like I feel like when in terms of judging, they're trying to push her up or something. I don't know. Even yeah, I just feel like she's like hard to trust to put on a whole all of her MMA skills, the striking, the grappling together in a whole fight, and it's kind of flaky to me when how she shows up at times. And yeah, I just don't see that with Jandiroba. Even at 37, she doesn't seem like she's slowing down. Yeah, I'm on the Virna Jandiroba side. I mean, keep it chewy and get the the grappling, maybe dominate. I mean, their common opponent, Yang Xiaonan, I mean, she just 30-27 Ricci everywhere in terms of striking. And I mean, Virna Jandiroba, she dominated Yang Xiaonan basically. And I know MMA math doesn't always equate to anything when you're comparing fighters, but in terms of skill and like competition, how they fight and like finish fights, I feel like Jandiroba's the side here, and these odds are pretty good, I think, for Jandiroba. Yeah, those are my thoughts for this one. Keep it chewy, fade the baby shark.
Yeah, I think we gotta fade. Let's hope that she becomes a dog. throughout the week, man. I think that would be awesome. Or if not, then maybe one free one that might want to give you guys. Obviously, if you watch the video, maybe do the Ewing Virna parlay. It has a little bit of risk in there, but I think having those two as a parlay could be a fruitful odds. So it could be some good odds right there putting those two together. But that's just one thing off the top of my head right now. But I would love to get them and make both of those a dog somehow. I think that would be awesome to have that. You got any other fights you want to talk about on this card?
I think that's it. Really, those are like the main fights that I have thoughts on. Yeah, those are the fights I like right now.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, we'll see how the week shakes out at the end. We're going to have our picks on Friday. We're going to try our hardest to get back on a winning track here and get some positive units, reflect on last week, move forward with this week. And I think we're in good shape. So until then, best of luck to everybody. And yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
And guess what?
Yeah.
The next card is our boy Joshua Van. So I'm excited
5 units
for the Van Tyra fight.
5 units. You know who we're riding with, man. Come on now.
Yes,
Come on,
sir.
man. This guy has not failed us only maybe once against Charles Johnson, but he's not failed us any other time. This guy's a beast, bro.
Yep.